quite famous here in UK, and he says he's teaching, right? He's teaching people how to be on stage, and he says when you're good at something, don't do it, teach it. And it was like,
Yeah.
I never thought about that before, and it kind of makes sense. And I was thinking like, maybe I should start. Hello, everyone. And hello, Rhonda, for another episode. Thanks so much for joining us once again. Today, we are talking about sources of income when you are traveling here and there and everywhere. That came out as from the previous episode when we were talking about being a travel nomad, and it just got me curious, like, because I know people that want to travel around and make money, but they're just confused, like how I'm gonna make money. They're thinking I should have something over here, maybe like something like, I don't know, a house that is renting out and just bring me money every month. But you are making money on the locations, all right? I know that with you, part of the secret is that you try to live in a low budget. Like you don't splash the cash. That's
no. Yes.
Is that's a main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great skill set.
Okay, so probably everybody who wants to go and be a travel nomad, the first thing probably is to try and live like more down, like how are we gonna say it? More down to earth? No, but more humble, more humble life.
More modestly.
Okay. As you said in the previous episode, money, a penny saved is a penny earned. What did you say?
Yeah, penny saved is a penny earned. Yeah, so I think we really look at that and we really look hard at our budgets and our daily spending habits. Like if I'm going to buy something now, I look at it in terms like our daily budget of just getting by is about $20 a day for food and drink and entertainment kind of thing. That's not including our accommodations, So if I want to buy something, I compare it to that. Like, is this worth a night's stay? Is this worth a day's spending? Because the longer we can keep our money going, the longer we can continue to explore. So it's kind of a shift in mindset.
Okay, so number one, save money, as obvious as maybe. Okay, and then number two, let's start, listing some things. That could be things that you do or things that you have seen from other nomads that may not be for you, but you think like, oh, that's actually a good idea. Maybe it will be somebody from the listeners. Okay, what do you think?
Okay. Well, I think that's what's going to be easiest for me is to kind of think back to the evolution of my process, as this has gone on. Because when I set out, I wasn't really quite sure how it was going to work, but I knew I had done a lot of different things. And one of the first suggestions that had come to me from someone else was stock photography. And I've met people in our travels that have done phenomenally well with stock photography. I'm not sure how familiar you are with it. I had to submit at least 60 photographs to a website called Dreams Time, before I got accepted as a stock photographer. And finally did. And I've sold some photography, but I know there are other people who sell a lot more than I do. And I think the trick to stock, there's tricks to it, and figuring out what kind of photographs businesses are interested in buying is worth spending the time educating yourself before you go after that. Because it's not that easy to become a stock photographer, but if you've got good skills and you understand it, then you can do well with that. And then the second thing that happened for me when we started traveling wasn't as much about income, but recognizing that I have basic needs. We have basic needs. We needed, if you need food in your mouth and a roof over your head, and someone else has those things, and maybe you have something that you can do that you can offer them, like say you're living van life or bus life or backpack life. And I'll go to a business, and if I look at their online presence and I see that there's ways that I can help them, like maybe their Instagram, if they have an Instagram, it doesn't represent them as well as when I'm in the place looking at it, then I realize that I have skills, social media skills. Maybe I've traded for pizza, I've traded for beer, I've traded for overnight stays, I've traded for all kinds of things. I've designed logos, in exchange for room and board kind of thing. So that's kind of what that a penny saved is penny earned approach. Another thing that I'd always heard before we set out was about teaching English abroad, especially for native English speakers. There's a lot of opportunity for native English speakers. It's easier when you're younger. The companies want to hire you more if you're younger. And because I am 60 now, I started realizing a few years ago that if I wanted a chance to be paid for those skills, I might need to kind of up my game and get better at it. So I've started the process of getting my my documentation for it. I can't remember the name of the certification. I haven't finished it yet, but I started teaching English on my own to people and getting paid directly by coaching online. So that's an opportunity. There's a lot of countries that where I've met a lot of people that teach English around the world. There's a lot of need for it.
Speaking on that, on that note, because you said it's an opportunity for English speakers, especially native speakers, I would just say and add a bracket here that it's not just English. Yes, English. If you can teach English, great. But it's not that. Yes. It's not English. You can teach your native language wherever you're from. Yeah. Because I'm Bulgarian, and I was like, there is this platform italki, where you can sign up there, and it's just a platform that connects teachers to people that want to learn the language. So I put it as Bulgarian and say, let's see what's going to happen. And a few people contacted me. There was a family in USA that adopted a Bulgarian, and they wanted him to refresh Bulgarian, how he speaks Bulgarian, because he hasn't been speaking Bulgarian for years. So that was kind of a twice a week thing for a while. And I had a few other people, like one lady was going to live in Sofia and study there. She's like, oh, I want to learn something before I go there. So it's just your native language. Either use a platform like italki, or you promote it on your own website or whatever it is. Just think with your native language. By the way, you're not using italki, I suppose. Is it through your website, or how do you do it?
I reach out through social media, and I find people like that, and then they pay me through PayPal.
Oh, nice.
So, I met a lady that I met in Bulgaria, actually, a British lady. She was working for a Chinese company and teaching a few days a week. And so I talked to her about the pros and cons of that, the pros and cons of the scheduling and all of it, and thought about it for a while. And then I started looking online to see, well, what companies might I try to work with? And I stumbled on this blog where this guy's talking about, do you really have to go through a company? You can do it yourself. I'm like, well, I've already got some media, I've already got some social contacts. I don't have an enormous following at all, but I've got some contacts, and I have, I don't have tons of students. I don't really want a lifestyle that's like super busy. So it's worked out really well for me. I kind of manage multiple, income streams at the same time. I think there's a lot of different ways it can be done. I agree with you. I would like to learn Bulgarian. So there you go.
There you go. You see, even if it's a language that is not very popular, especially Bulgaria, I've been in the past few years when I've been coming back, every year I see more foreigners in Bulgaria. Either they go to study there, or either they go and work there, because there are a lot of companies that are outsourcing that they're putting their offices there because it's cheap, like rent's cheap, like work is like to pay for the workers is cheap, and they're attracting foreigners as well. So no matter how unpopular your language might be, because Bulgarians, 7 million, not even 7.5 million people, you can still do it. You can still do it. Of course, not as the main thing, but as an extra thing that you can do over there.
There's a need for most things, right? It's just finding those niche. Yes,
exactly. As you say, with stock photography, because I've been thinking to start video stock for a while.
Yes,
and I was thinking, I'm just gonna, all the videos I've got, I'm gonna post it because it's not something extra that I do. It's the videos I shoot for my videos. So it made perfect sense, right? But what you said, if you know what companies are looking for, that would be that's an extra thing. really well.
Well, yeah. And the part of the challenge is a lot of times companies are looking for videos and photographs that have people in them. And so then they're models, and then you have to have model releases. So it's just another layer of something that you need to do, right? But it's doable. Like, these things are doable. And especially if you're hanging with the same people a lot and you're getting video of, and it's of yourself quite a bit, which is your case, huh?
Yeah.
Then I think that would work really, really well for you.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Well, that was great interaction over there. So teaching English or teaching your language. What else?
So I really dig traditional crafts. I really love seeing people working with their hands, and I really I like it when cultures are able to not lose those skill sets, basically. So most of the things that I do to earn money has to kind of check my boxes. And one of the boxes that checks for me is supporting artisans and supporting craftspeople. So if I find a craft somewhere and it's something that's shippable, it's lightweight enough, it's not so fragile, then I will offer it to my social media followers and see if they're interested in buying it. Sometimes I just hook the artisans up directly with people, and sometimes it goes through me and I ship it for people. There's different ways that I've done it, but I've created income for myself like that in various parts of the world. I also buy, like I was telling you at one point, some used things. Sometimes I find used things in places where they don't, like in developing nations, things that have been handcrafted years ago don't have so much practical purpose to them. And so they'll get rid of it quite inexpensively, but it might be of interest in other places.
For everybody watching and not listening, you show me a couple of things before that. Can you show me again?
Yes. These are just things that I just have kind of happened across because when I was hanging in Bulgaria, I have a place to store things. So it's different. When I'm working out of my backpack, it's a bit different, right?
Oh, yeah. You need to move them around.
Yeah. And I'm very cautious to not get things that are so heavy. So I bought a silver bracelet recently, a silver plated bracelet that I got a good value on. I got a little Disney commemorative Mickey Mouse birthday spoon. I've got some Serbian. Are they Serbian? Oh, I shouldn't say that. They Serbian or Albanian. They might have been from Albania.
Say Balkan. Okay.
There we go. Balkan. But they're really cool. They're really cool. Old mittens. I feel a little bad about that because they were gifted to me, but they're so cool. So I still think I'm going to offer them for sale. Beautiful hand knit. I've got some little handmade doilies, beautiful doilies, that kind of thing. It just depends. I might be selling some of these, like a print of this is actually a print of a pretty watercolor.
A print
it was
of a watercolor.
I went, and I thought it was just really pretty, and I thought it was a good value. It's very simple souvenir, but it slips easily in an envelope. You know, I've gotten pretty experience of being able to kind of guesstimate how much it costs to send something. Oh, and I also bought a little handmade goat bell.
Hold on, did you sell one of those before?
I've sold 3 of those before that were made in Bulgaria. And I actually hooked them together on a thing to hang them as a wall hanging. They're really beautiful. Yeah.
This is great. So what's your process? So you find those things. You said you take pictures of them, videos, and then you have an Instagram store for that?
I do. I call it Rhonda's Treasure Trove. And then I just put up a separate post, and I copied this idea from someone else, and they use their highlights to explain how the store works. So it's really simple because I've used Etsy in the past before. I've used many different kinds of platforms, and I found that for me, the easiest I can make it gives me more time to play, and I'm all about playing. I'm all about having fun. And that's the easiest way for me. I put it on there, we communicate, they'll usually pay me through PayPal. If they can't pay me through PayPal, then I do have a Big Cartel. I don't know if you're familiar with Big Cartel. You can get a shopping cart for free on Big Cartel, and you can put up to 5 items on Big Cartel for free. So that's a really great tip that I got from my daughter. Are you familiar with that?
No, I know only Etsy.
Yeah. So, it's Big Cartel is a free shopping cart. So it doesn't help you market your product at all, but it gives you a way to process orders.
Okay.
And you can connect it. Like I can accept credit cards from 34 countries through it's a free shopping cart.
So from your Instagram page, you move them to the Big Cartel.
If they can't pay me through PayPal, then I don't move the product there. I'll just create a little temporary one for that particular person. And I send them the link and they pay me, and then I take it back down again.
Okay. So from your Instagram page, there is no redirection to anywhere. People just message you, hey, can I have this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the directions are under the highlights, how this works. They just write sold. And then the other people that look at that particular product know that it's already been spoken for.
I see.
And then I contact that person and tell them how much. Well, they already know how much, because I just include shipping in things. I guesstimate shipping. Basically, I have a large enough margin so I can kind of guesstimate shipping, and then I send it on. When they PayPal me, it includes their shipping address, so it's easy.
Nice. Yeah, as you said, you copy it from somebody else. I know people that they want to have something unique. I'm like, you don't need anything unique. You just copy something that is already working and just add your touch, and you're done.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. All right. I agree with you. Like art and creativity, we all feed off of each other. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Plus, you add something on you, because the person you copy it from, I'm sure he's not selling cowbells. They're selling something else, right? You just added your thing. You're interested in crafts, and you just sell these things. Okay, beautiful. Let's move forward. Let me do one, and then we come back to you. Let's change.
Okay.
So I would say you can have a job if you wish, but just find it remotely, right? Because now one of my incomes is I'm teaching online in a company that is teaching creators how to become creators. And I'm teaching that online because I have a class. I have people from Singapore, Colombia, Romania.
Did you just post about this? Did you just post a picture of all their faces the other day?
That's from there. Yeah, that's from there.
I thought that was so cool. That was exciting. Neat.
Yeah. And I can do that from everywhere around the world. So if you can find a job now, there are companies that are, finding people remotely. You can find it on LinkedIn. You can find it on other websites that you're local with. For example, in Bulgaria, it's jobs.bg, right? There are companies that are looking for remote work. So if you find one of those, it's no problem at all to go and travel and do your things. You just need to fit the schedule. And some companies will look for freelancers. Some companies are looking for full-time job. So either way, just go and do it. So
I love
it. Yeah, that's one tip from me. Let's go back to you. What's another tip from you that you can make money from?
Let's see. Well, most of us, because I'm 60, I think a lot of people that have reached my age have done a lot of different things. A lot of us have, and we might have more skill sets than we realize that we do. And I find that just by letting people know what I can do, I've been able to get, consulting kind of work. And I just charge an hourly rate that's very comfortable for me. And I do online consulting for different kinds of things. And that's really rewarding. I enjoy it a lot.
It's so interesting. How do you market that? And do you have a page for that, or how does it work?
No, I have, because I've been traveling for a while, have people that, and I call it rambling, right? I have people that have been rambling along with us for years now. And I just kind of lean on my contacts through social media and offer what I do through social media. And out of the blue, somebody will pop me a message that they want me to edit some of their English from this email that they're sending, or they want my help with this room that they're decorating, or they want me to help them figure out how to become a nomad, or whatever it might be. So I don't really market myself so much as I communicate what I can do, and I let people know, that I'm here for you if you need that help in that way. And then someday they might come back and ask me for it.
It's very interesting to say that, because one of the other things that I do is I do videos, not just for me, but I do videos for people and for brands and for companies. And then there is this guy that I'm doing videos. He's got famous here in UK, and he says he's teaching, right? He's teaching people how to be on stage, and he says, when you're good at something, don't do it, teach it. And it was like, yeah. I never thought about that before, and it kind of makes sense. And I was thinking like, maybe I should start teaching, but I was like, I'm already teaching with this academy. So with this company that I'm teaching people online. So I was like, for now, I'm going to keep it that way. But yeah, it makes sense in a way. So for everybody who's listening and watching, maybe think of your skill or skills, whatever you have, something that you're good at, just think about it and offer to teach it to other people. That's another thing.
And I think that if you want skills that you don't have, something that you crave doing, I've done a lot of volunteering in my life. I think that when we recognize that that it's actually a wonderful thing to volunteer and to give our time, because it'll give back to us so much. It gives back to us in relationships. It gives back to us in a sense of purpose. It gives back to us in skill sets that we can develop, and a lot of what I've learned, a lot of my leadership skills, a lot of my organizational skills, a lot of my marketing know-how, a lot of those things came from volunteering that I did in various ways over the years. So volunteering is a really, really powerful way of connecting with people and learning how to do things that you're interested in.
Yeah, I agree. What about something that did we mention your book?
Yeah, so when the pandemic started, like I had been writing a lot more on Facebook than I do now in my travels. I kind of got a little bit fatigued with it, but doing really long posts and telling long stories of various adventures. And I got encouraged a lot over the years to take the time to write a book. So I kept threatening to do it, and I had all kinds of notes on my phone. And when the pandemic hit and we had to make a decision, were we going to return to the States or were we going to stay out and shelter abroad, and we decided to stay out and shelter abroad, it sort of stopped everything. And there were no excuses anymore, right, to not sit down and knock this out. So I spent about 2 months and I knocked out this ebook, and it's called Tips and Tales from the Trail, Volume 1. And it's about packing light to live light and the advantages of traveling with a light pack and all of the different aspects of that, and how much it adds to for me, how much more pleasurable and how freeing it is to travel light. So I did it, and I did all the research about publishing it, and, spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out the technology side of it. And at the end of the day, I just ended up doing a PDF file that completely on my phone. I wrote the whole thing on my phone, and I put photographs in it, and I included links to YouTube clips that I created, especially for the book, all kinds of hyperlinks. It was a lot of fun. And then I put it up on my big cartel. And so it sits there in my big cartel. And when someone buys a copy, I put it over on, what's that, Dropbox. I share it, usually through Dropbox. I just self-published an ebook. I've been asked now to do audiobooks, so I might move into doing some audiobooks.
You are asked from people to do their audiobooks. Is that what you mean?
Say that again?
You've been contacted to do other people's audiobooks.
No, I mean, people have asked me to do audiobooks because they would like to hear what I have to say, and like, so either read my book out, I guess just read my book out loud. But what that kind of tells me is that I may start writing more just for the purpose of the storytelling with my voice, as opposed to something published to read. I don't know. I'm still kind of processing on that one, how I'm going to approach that.
Yeah, writing a book is another thing. reminder or a small warning for everybody who's thinking to do that. It's a lot of work, especially if you want to deliver something good. It's a lot of work. I have 2 books, but I must say that at first I had a script that was for an online course that I put in Skillshare, right? So that's an extra income that comes every once in a while. So I had a script already that I just flip and turn into a book that I put on Amazon. It's on my website as well. And I turn into audiobook as well, because I myself, I prefer listening to things rather than reading them. So for me, that's perfect. That's my understanding. I know that there are people that still read. However, I really like to turn them into audiobook. I'm yet to record the second one. And that just
so you've done an audiobook for one of them?
Yeah, the first one is on audiobook as well.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I might want to talk to you on the side about how you went about that. I'm curious. I haven't figured out I haven't taken the time to really think about it and look into the.
You might be, you might gonna need a laptop for that.
Maybe not. Maybe I just need a good speaker. Good microphone. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna talk about that. Okay. Just probably 1 or 2 minutes left. Is there anything else that we can add here?
Well, I do, like, on my Patreon. I'm Rambling Rhonda, and I have a Patreon level where people can pick my brain for know-how, where I would share, how all these different kinds of things through phone conversations, and that information's on my Patreon if someone wants to reach out to me like that. But I can't really think of anything else that I need to add.
Okay, I think I just thought about something else. I have a friend who is also traveling around, and probably another tip that you can do, another thing that you can do is work something local, because you said, in a way, kind of goes together what you said, that you go somewhere and you have them with social media with a logo or something like that, and you just stay there for free. But what he did, I remember that he was living in a hostel, and he was going to help with cleaning other hostels. So if you find a local work where you go and just find a job for a month or 2, you're just walking around. Even now in London, I just walk around the streets and it's like, we're looking for barista, we're looking for a waiter, we're looking for service staff. So
absolutely. Those opportunities are out there. I'm in a bit of a different mindset than a lot of people, because I'm not so much looking for more income streams, because I recognize there's a lot of opportunities. I kind of try to match things with how I want to live my life, kind of turn my own hobbies into the ways that bring me income. But on that kind of note, when there was a period of time back like 6 years ago when I was in Ojai, California, and I was just traveling with my backpack, and Ryan had the big boy, our bus that we were living out of, but he was in another state with it, getting some mechanical work done on it that his cousin was doing. So I was winging it with just me and my backpack and my camera and trading for hotel stays. And I stayed at some really nice resorts just in exchange for my photography, like really nice places. And one of the things that I did was I created a flyer for myself that shows examples of my photography, and I printed out copies of it, and I put it around on the community bulletin boards around there to, like, I'm in town for this long, and this is who I am, and this is what I can do, and that kind of thing. So I've done self-promotion in those ways. I really encourage people I use Pinterest for myself as a way to keep kind of a scrapboard of my skill sets and the various things that I've done. So then if I meet someone and I recognize an opportunity and I want to show them what I've done before, then I can go and I can pull this image down with the information on it and have it ready. It's kind of like a resume that you can bust up into parts. It's a sort of a visual resume that I use, and I'll send those to people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Pinterest?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I typically use tools quite differently than other people. I'm a bit of an innovator, like that. Here comes that train I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mostly like keeping the documentation of what you can do and recognizing that it's hard to communicate with people a lot of times because they might not have the attention span that you need them to have to be able to show them what you're capable of, especially if you feel a little shy in front of people. So to have something readily available to send them in an email or to, pass on to them so they can see what you're capable of and get testimonies from people. If you've helped someone before, make sure you capture that you've got that testimony from somebody that you can share to the next opportunity that you don't really know what it might be,
Yeah, that's a great thing. That's something I learned as well from the work I've been doing for people that are, quite successful. They say you need testimonials, just when you have somebody that you did a good job for, just pick up your phone and just ask them, like, what happened? Oh yeah, this was so great. Now I'm a different person.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Our youngest son, Connor, he started a business recently. It's called Odyssey Pilot Hours. You can find it on Instagram, but I've kind of coached him as he's been going along in business. And this testimonial part of it, they just embraced it full force and they interview the pilots that have been going through their program. And it's like part of their Instagram story and they're just killing it. It's fantastic. I'm so proud of them. Yeah. Credibility, relationships, is just so much more organic and valuable and real than like the hustle and trying to,
yeah.
Life's about living, right? We get too caught up in life being about how we measure success is like what we're able to earn, but really success is about building relationships and enjoying life and being part of the good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, because success, like people can ask you, how is successful? Like success is like, what is success? Because for me, success can be lying on the beach without worrying where my money comes. For you, success can be driving a Ferrari and living in a penthouse.
Yes. When I met Ryan, that was one of the first questions I asked him on one of our very first dates, was how do you define success? Because I was old enough to realize that was really, really important.
Yeah.
That we were on the same page with some of those things,
How does he define success?
Yeah, through living full and enjoying himself. He's not a riches motivated kind of,
Yeah. Well,
he's an artist. He's
sounds like you're a perfect match.
It's been great. Yeah. Yeah, we have a really good time. Thank you.
I'm so happy. I wish you many years of happiness, many, many more years.
Thank you.
All right, Rhonda, I think that was a fantastic episode. We covered a lot. Hopefully that helps some people. If anybody has any other suggestions, then leave a comment and we'll happily have a look at it. Thanks so much, Rhonda. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Ciao, ciao.
And stop.